Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that general business notice of motion number 1141, standing in my name for today, relating to the Australian Embassy in Israel, be taken as a formal motion.
Is there any objection to this motion being taken as formal? There is an objection to this motion being taken as formal. Senator Anning.
Pursuant to standing notice, contingent notice, I move that so much of the standing orders be suspended as would prevent me from moving a motion, that general business notice of motion number 1141 may be moved immediately and determined without amendment or debate. I move this motion in response to the indications by the Prime Minister that the Australian government intended to move the Australian Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem and thus recognise Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Israel is the land promised to the Jewish people by God, despite conquests and expulsions by of the Jews by tyrants since the age of Abraham. There has never been a time when there were not Jews living in Israel. For over 3,000 years, the capital of that land has been Jerusalem. Now, since it's good enough for God, it seems to me that it should be good enough for the Australian government to recognise this fact and acknowledge it by moving our embassy to West Jerusalem. Apparently not so. It was only 2 months ago when I moved a motion here in the Senate to move the embassy to Jerusalem, and the government sided with Labor and the Greens to unanimously vote against my motion. But now, only days away from a by-election in Wentworth, an electorate with quite a large Jewish community, the Prime Minister has apparently experienced his own Damascus conversion and claims to be now considering moving the embassy. Senators and the Australian people are entitled to be sceptical about the sincerity of this commitment, given the past history of the Turnbull-Morrison government in acknowledging a government kowtowing to the Palestinian Authority and various other Muslim dictators. And this is why I thought it appropriate to test the support, the supposed commitment with this motion. From the fact that my motion is opposed, senators can now draw their own conclusion as to the sincerity of the government's position. Thank you.
Question is the motion moved by Senator Ruston.
I seek leave to make a short statement.
Well, we're in debate, Senator Ruston, on the motion to suspend standing orders, so you don't need to seek leave.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. In line with the government's long-standing view, motions that cannot be debated or amended should not deal with complex foreign policy matters. Australia is a long-standing, strong supporter of a durable and resilient two-state solution in the Israel-Palestinian conflict. The government has announced that it will examine the merits of moving Australia's embassy to West Jerusalem in the context of our support for that two-state solution.
Question is the motion moved by Senator Anning to suspend standing orders to bring on the matter for a vote be agreed to. Those of that opinion say aye. The contrary, no. The noes have it. Division required. Ring the bells for 4 minutes. No, there were two voices. I distinctly heard two voices and saw two senators voting. Ring the bells for 4 minutes. Lock the doors. The question is the motion moved by Senator Anning to suspend standing orders be agreed to. The ayes will pass to the right of the chair, the noes to the left of the chair. I appoint Senator Anning teller for the ayes and Senator Urquhart teller for the noes. The result of the division is ayes 2, noes 36. The matter is resolved in the negative.